Hey, what's going on, everybody? TujoPanda finally back after a long-standing hiatus. How y'all doing, everybody? Did you miss me? I know I missed each one of you all. And hey, new year, new look, new face. Decided to adopt a different look. Check me out, fellas. So, what do you think? Can this be the new and improved TujoPanda moving forward or what? I mean, I figured it was just cute enough to adopt and cherish and adore for all time, and how would you all like it if all the commentary and drama videos from this point forward were dictated to you all by a tiny little black and white otter? I mean, I'm feeling it. Are you guys feeling it? Nah, just kidding. Man, I woke up this morning and I bumped my shins into a Goomba. What the fuck a Goomba was doing in my room? I have no idea, but maybe I woke up in Super Mario Land. And this little otter right here, this is like the Mario equivalent to the big otter. The big otter is after you find a mega mushroom, grow twice your size, can actually do something. This is just like regular old small Mario that can't do much. And then I found out that mushrooms only make you think you're big without actually making you big. So, don't do drugs, kids. But nah. This just happens to be one of the many avatars that I had acquired over my time, over the years in VR chat. Because I thought Shaded Bat actually did a really good job. It was cute, cuddly, and, I gave it a black and white paint job. For brand recognition purposes, of course. And there you go. So, Big Otter and Panda aren't going anywhere, alright? I just figured I'd spice things up a little bit, cycle some avatars out, showcase what I had on me, and there you go. So, what is the purpose of this particular video? Well, it is my triumphant return to the platform. On top of that, I just wanted to reach out to you all and touch base, okay? If you're expecting some sort of a commentary video about drama and the hateocracy going on Twitter, well, this video might not be for you. So you might want to click off of this and wait for the next one. But for this one, this is just really me reaching out to you, the dear audience, and just to touch base, update you all about what's been going on in my everyday life. Things I've experienced, things I've noticed, things that, I should probably get to work on, but for the most part, after being down for the count for the better part of 2 weeks, I'm feeling it, I couldn't really bring myself to do much in that time besides game and do a couple other little things, but nah, I'm feeling my 110% and sort of back to my normal self. So I might be able to get back into the swing of things and resume operations, pumping out videos, informing you all of whatever developments have to be taking place out there, and in the absence of all that, I'll talk about various topics of interest that I thought were interesting. So, I think we could all benefit from a change of scenery, instead of this weird tic-tac-toe board behind me. So, how about you get comfortable, you grab something to eat, maybe grab the popcorn, crack a cold one, crack a beer, and we're just gonna go ahead and have a change of scenery. So, back in a sec. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It feels like a year and a day since I actually worked on a video. I know it's only been 3 weeks, give or take, almost a month, but no, it definitely had an impact on me, this whole hiatus thing. So it's definitely gonna take me a little bit of time to get back into the sort of swing of things like I used to, and be able to just come on here anytime that I've learned something or I find something out. I feel like it's worth bringing to your all's attention. But other than that, it's surreal being this little tiny avatar, because usually I go for big or medium-sized avatars. I hardly ever adopt an avatar that's this small, but it's kind of a unique experience, everything being 10 times bigger than you are, and it definitely changes your perspective, literally. But yeah, try VR sometime if you have the chance. I know that the investment kind of puts people off, but I think you can get an Oculus Quest 2 for a decent price if you consider dropping $400 a decent price. And there's an uplink cable where you can actually connect it to a gaming PC that actually do something worth a damn, and you get to experience VR chat as it was intended. No limitations, or at least a few limitations. But nah, for the most part, if you want to actually dive headfirst in this sort of simulation, then you're going to want to invest in a Valve Index. Now that is $1,000 price tag. I remember when it actually came out initially and people were getting all excited about it, I'm just so wait a minute, do I get my complimentary blowjob before or after I make my purchase? The response I got was that I'd be the one giving virtual blowjobs. So, Not really the answer I was looking for, because I figure if you're going to drop $1,000 on something, there better be like a fucking complimentary blowjob or a hand job somewhere in that equation, preferably by a hot girl or a hot femboy. But anyway, no, it's something that I want you all to experience somehow. And if it's really not for you, maybe you experience like a bout of vertigo when you get into here. Like, it's not uncommon. And like, various things have happened to various people. Like, there's something called phantom sense, where people claim that they can actually feel like they're being touched IRL when they're in VR chat. And like, for instance, like me touching my arm right now, like, you know, if I was like not doing this IRL, if somebody else was touching me in the like, you know, simulation here, they claim that they can actually feel that. Now, I've done experiments where I would try to like sneak up on them and like, you know, basically poke them on the back of the head or something like that. Something that would actually merit a response IRL. They wouldn't react. So I think it's purely visual and mental. You know, you trick your mind into thinking that there's supposed to be some sort of sensation there when somebody touches you. I can get more on that in another video, but anyway. Nah. So here's what happened. It was back on Monday or Tuesday, right before Christmas. And I remember I left work early, like an hour early, because I wasn't feeling it, all right? I was kind of getting that weird dizzy feeling where, you know, for a moment, everything's fine. You can concentrate on your work, you can do what you gotta do, you can sort of look at the computer screen, file some paperwork, do whatever you gotta do. And then I would periodically get these dizzy spells. So I'm just like, oh shit, I better, you know, get home and pop some, like, you know, NyQuil in. You know, at least something. You know, an aspirin, Tylenol, like anything. Any kind of medication that would hopefully rectify the situation. My long standby has been like coffee. Copious amounts of coffee. It's packed with antioxidants. I put honey instead of sugar. So that's gotta be good for you, right? Nah, I'm just kidding. But no, I don't usually get sick. That's the crazy thing. I would usually only get sick once per every 5 years. Now, I will tell you this. When COVID-19 began, I dropped $70 on various medications and sealed them in an airtight medical kit for later use because I was just like, I am definitely over my 5-year limit right now. So if I get sick, it's going to knock me on my ass. Which it did, don't worry, but we are not quite there yet. So anyway, Tuesday, I decided to send out invitations to my, birthday party. Couldn't enjoy it IRL because most of the people I gave a damn about left the state, or, they're like far off. And besides, like, it's being so close to Christmas, like my birthday is the day after Christmas. That's right, I'm a Christmas child. And the good thing about that is in the early years, when I was a little kid, I get double the presents. Obviously, that was gradually phased out by my parents to the point that Christmas was basically synonymous with my birthday. Okay, well, whatever. So if you're wondering what my plans were to have a grand birthday party here in VR chat. Because what else am I going to do? Like, am I going to invite a bunch of people to my house? I wish I could. I wish I had that opportunity, but that would take at least a couple weeks planning in advance, like realistically speaking. I'm talking about like procuring of like refreshments, alcohol would definitely be on the table, soda pop, everything, the whole 9 yards, maybe even a big fat bucket of KFC. So yeah, not an hour after I had sent out the invitations, I started to feel it. I started to feel that intense sense of vertigo and tiredness. Strangely, I didn't have a cough and I didn't have any congestion in my nose, but I was definitely feeling something. So, you know what? I had to call off of work like the next day because I just could not get up out of bed.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
And for the next 4 days, I was basically sleeping it off. I had basically dipped into my stash of medical supplies, started to take whatever I could. Blackberry extract, elderberry extract, Dayquil for the daytime, NyQuil for the nighttime. And, when that didn't work, I basically just started eating garlic and drinking copious amounts of honey. And lemon water all the while. So yeah, 4 days was the worst of it. after that, it was pretty much just that generalized, like, feeling of malaise, like, or malaise, however you fucking, like, pronounce that word. But you have that sense of feeling unwell. And so, like, that just carried on all through New Year's. But no, Christmas was basically a boring affair because I woke up, all I could do, like, during the time that I was intensely ill for 4 days, is just watch YouTube. Like, what else am I going to do? I watch people gaming, I watch some various drama videos. Mostly it was just background noise because all I could really do was sleep. And, you know, like, you remember playing Dark Souls, right? You remember the fucking hollows? Yeah, those motherfuckers. Like, this is the closest thing I could imagine to feeling like a hollow, alright? Like, you're kind of just sleepwalking through life at this point. You can't really have any cognizance of what's going on around you, what you're doing, like anything that's happening right in front of your face. But you have some various, I guess, like impulses about what you should be doing or should not be doing. So yeah, it was pretty much like that for a little while there. And I just could not, like, wrap my head around the fact that I had, like, where I'd caught in this bug. Like, was it from work? Was it from, like, my lifestyle? Was it from, like, going out and about? I will say this, and this is, like, the strongest supposition here. I did do a favor for my mother. She called me up, like, 2 weeks back, had to get, like, well, more like 4 weeks back now. She had to get dropped off at the airport, so I picked her up, drove her to the airport, came back home, didn't think anything of it. When she came back, I had to pick her up and drop her off again, rather than call taxi service or anything like that. And I think I caught it from her and her traveling. That's what I think happened. But yeah, and I couldn't eat or anything like that during the whole time. Like, I had forgotten what it felt like to be sick. So I was the closest thing to a hollow. And, like, the mental image that comes to my mind is, like, this picture I drew where I was basically like a ghoulified Tujo. I was basically like one of those hollows. I had ripped out my heart and was offering it to the audience. For what reason or purpose, I don't know. But I'm sure there's a joke about romance in there sometime. Anyway, alright. So, Christmas Eve, I was actually supposed to go to a friend's place. I was supposed to get drunk. I was supposed to bring a big fat bucket of fried chicken, you know, KFC, kind of like the Japanese do. Due to rampant commercialization and advertising and various other things like marketing, some people in Japan are actually convinced that Americans on, like, Christmas, like, our Christmas celebration is kind of like Thanksgiving, but instead of, like, making a turkey, we just go to KFC and get, like, big buckets of fried chicken. So you'll have, like, provinces in Japan that'll put orders to their local KFC, like, months in advance to ensure that they're going to have a Thanksgiving dinner, or I should say a KFC dinner on Christmas Eve. But yeah, that was my plan. I just felt inspired ever since I saw the documentary, ever since I saw, like, an article. Like, years past, I was actually going to do it this year. Didn't get my chance due to my sickness, you know? I couldn't touch alcohol. And so it just sucked. And so, like, later on, my birthday, you know, the 26th, day after Christmas, I was aware that I had, like, sent out all the invitations, and I was too proud to tell everybody, hey guys, I'm actually sick, can't enjoy my birthday, so we're going to go ahead and reschedule it for sometime in January. No. Tujo don't roll that way. So what did I do? I drank a couple cups of coffee, I took some Dayquil, and I decided to chug a big fat glass of fuck it all. And I popped on VR chat, and I forced myself to enjoy the night away with various friends and acquaintances that decided to show up. Hey everybody, TujoPanda back in action. It is today my birthday, and we could only celebrate it at one particular venue that was only open the day after Christmas, Chuck E. Cheese!
I want to fucking die.
What do you want me here?
Well, Oris decided to clock out early.
First, one pooped in the balls
That
again.
pizza isn't edible. You're getting eaten first.
So as you can see, this Chuck E. Cheese didn't exactly meet safety regulations, and look at these happy people. Holy bejesus, half his fucking face is melted from eating that cheese pizza.
I smell pennies.
Ors, I think you know what to do. Can you
Come here.
There you go.
You can
Okay.
make pizza, right?
Shoot the stage. You know what? It was actually a pretty good affair. You know, like all things considered, we got to like link up, hang out. Play some games like TonboBattlefield. There they are!
Where's the center?
Oh. This isn't good for my health. Car gas bad for health.
Ow. Point, get out of here with that fucking, like, Mad Max bullshit. Nobody wants that. I'll take it.
Shotgun.
Get that proto-gen!
Rocket launcher.
Can we win?
We're about
Or we
to.
not win yet?
No, that's supposed to respawn.
There we go. Oh, my minigun.
Heavy machine gun.
Woo!
Someone appeared.
Hey, Lily. You like miniguns? I like being the heavy.
Oh yeah.
What? Are you like a grenade launcher?
Yes.
I did indeed.
Arnold Schwarzenegger to my rescue!
Your days are over, mister.
Well, some people are having fun, some people are having some problems.
Thing.
Woo!
Dad can find me the gay baby jail.
Ow.
Wait, we're all Reds.
Alright.
Well, that one was.
We killed each other. Okay.
Eat Skeletor, bitch! Damn. That's it.
Oh, no.
Come here, asshole. I'm gonna punch you in the dick. I'm gonna punch you in the dick.
No.
Get back.
Come here, Mr. Shield Man. It'll be a battle of shields. It'll be a battle of shields. My shield beats yours. Sorry, you stay over there. Hey, Mittens.
I'm lost.
Come here, motherfucker!
Oh, maybe you're a spoiler.
Haha. Ow.
Eat my dick, bitch! I'm here to kill.
Come here, Ors. I want to talk to you, man. I want to talk to you. I want to fucking slice your head off.
No.
Give me the minigun. Give me the minigun. Oh, no, 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 no! Oh, I got knocked in the lava. I'm burning. I'm burning. Oh, okay. I'm dead.
My enemies are green.
Ow.
Yeah, it's hard to balance this.
Here's a taste that you Mexican weather.
No, no, it's fine. I know how to play. I can't tell what's going on.
Ow.
Wonderful.
Oh.
More, but like, I'm having an issue.
We won.
How did we win? How did we win?
So then they all got the Medal of Honor for being terrible people, I guess, and that's pretty much the whole thing.
You know, murder. And the boy, like hat
How
on
are
now.
you?
We're trying to survive.
I'm not supposed to come till 3 a.m. Sorry. No, I was off schedule. Sorry. Sorry, sir.
Is that the gun?
Look at it, see what the hell's wrong with your current setup.
Well, what I'm thinking, cause
I'm sorry.
Gotcha, bitch.
I need toilet paper. I ran out. Hey, can the man take a shit in peace? My man.
Guerrero, I'm afraid that you've been speeding in a no speeding zone. Gonna have to do a cavity search now to make sure you're not trafficking drugs.
Okay, alright, let me,
You guys aren't seeing this, okay? This is police procedure. Standard police procedure, okay?
standard police procedure, yes. Yeah.
Hey, I could confiscate your film.
You got that lubricant? You got some lubricants?
This is a live stream.
Oh, Will Smith, your smiling expression is an inspiration to us all in these dark times.
Hi there. I was wondering, would you like to make a deal?
Spaghetti time.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah. No, what you're supposed to say is, "Hey, Mr. Officer, nice badge, nice badge." It's gonna be painful.
The knives are invisible.
Yep, the knives are invisible, unfortunately. Postcard. Sarah, your left leg seems to be seceding from the Union a little bit.
Fuck.
Snake. Okay, get out of there. Get out of there. I think it killed Caro.
Is the snake an instant kill?
It's, yeah.
It was him. It was Creature.
Amogus.
The snake came out. Yes, it was. The birdie came out. The snake birdie came out as soon as.
You wouldn't lie to me, would you, Lone?
Unless it.
You wouldn't lie to me, would you, Creature?
I would lie to you.
Shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot him.
I think it's a
Do it. Do it. Do it. Shoot him. By the way, there's.
Lone, me and you
Well,
have
if
been
it's not
having
him, then
sex
shoot him
since the start of
alone.
this
Shoot him.
round, man. How could
Shoot him.
Shoot my biggest.
Alright. Wow! To be fair, he didn't lie to me. He told the truth. He's like, I would lie to you.
Oh, problem. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
I need nothing but God and prayer on my side. I will spread hope where none exists.
no.
Go on my wayward son. Don't be lost.
Hey
Don't
guys,
be
the snake box is in the basement or in
Yeah.
the cellar.
It's in cellar. Sarah, why are you so aggressive to like Lone? And you're just like, it's you, isn't it? You're gonna die.
He
Kill
calls me gross. He needs to die.
He called you gross?
No, he's lying.
Lone, why'd you call him gross? Wait, why is like a fucking plate of chicken nuggets is accusing me of being a murderer? Uh-oh.
I promise not to kill you.
My wayward son, I must...
It's Pujo again! It's Pujo again! It's Pujo again! Run! It's Pujo!
I just want to talk to you in the name of the Lord.
They were gonna make you
Run.
Triple kill!
I think we need some good chase music.
I'm sorry.
Kill-tacular. Killing spree.
Somebody's shooting.
Running run.
Goodbye. I don't trust you.
Go on my
you bitch, you better not
wayward
kill me.
son. Don't be lost, don't be lost.
So I'm gonna let you know that if Tujo kills you, that means he's gay.
Oh.
Get big homo.
Oh no. I'm sorry. But I must kill you. In the name of Christ. Thou hast judged thee! You have been found wanting! And a lot of people seem to have a great time. And that was a great thing. But all throughout that, I was feeling like I was sleepwalking. I was sort of experiencing a fever dream, you know? Like all of these various avatars and people in VR chat all around me at all times. You know, usually enjoying some conversation with me, enjoying some conversation with the guy next to them. But no, like, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like enjoyment to the 110% that I was hoping for. It was more like, you know, 70 to 75%, which is still good, you know, like that's like an average experience, right? But probably one of the better things to do with my birthday because, and if you're wondering like why I did something this year for my birthday, I'll go ahead and tell you something. Here in VR chat, I remember a while back I had stumbled upon somebody that was crying, bawling their eyes out, alright? They were absolutely, like, heartbroken. They had apparently expected on their birthday that all their, like, friends were going to show up in VR chat and chill out with him, hang out with him, play some games with him, and, like, you know, I was just sort of asking some basic questions as other people. It was in the Shiba world. And there was a bunch of Shibas surrounding him, but nobody was really saying anything, so I decided to take initiative and just be like, hey, bud, like, what's going on, man? Like, why are you crying? And I basically asked him just basic questions. I was like, okay, did your friends know that your birthday was coming up? Did you make official plans under no uncertain terms, like telling them, hey, you know, my birthday's coming up. You guys want to do something for my birthday? And he said yes, and then that, like, at the very end of it, he was just crying and said, like, everybody had better things to do than to enjoy this guy's birthday, which is indicative of having shitty friends, so try to avoid having shitty friends if you're going to have friends at all. Or at least know, like, set the bar low enough but high enough that you know, like, what they're likely to do or what they're unlikely to do. That sort of goes under the, you know, file of, like, friendship. I already made a video about that. I should probably make a follow-up some point, but no. It impacted me because, it, like, I thought about that. And I thought about how I never do anything for birthday. And, like, birthdays should be a cherished occasion in spite of how old you are, how young you are. And obviously, like, the importance of birthdays isn't very high in my life, at least at my current age. But there was a time where it was sort of a big deal, you know? It was a time of celebration. You're, you know, celebrating your life in this world after you stepped forth and transitioned from a child to a young adult. And it's something that a lot of people sort of take for granted, but maybe you shouldn't. Other than that, like, I try to console him best I could. I can't, for the life of me, remember their name. I only vaguely remember what their avatar looked like. It was basically a Shiba. And the other Shibas that were around him, you know, they tried to offer their support, but what I should have done is I should have just been like, well, hey, buddy, I might not know you, but I'm here, and you got some friends around you right here, right now. How about we go ahead and head on over to, like, you know, TonboBattlefield, or maybe even, like, Murder, and we could play some games, hang out, chillax for a little while, and, you know, just forget about those guys. You got us right now. Let's enjoy it. That's what I should have done. I didn't, because I had pre-planned, like, things, and I already had something lined up that I needed to pursue, and I did. But it impacted me. So that's why I decided to throw all caution to the wind, in spite of the fact that I was sick. I was going to enjoy my birthday. And there were some douchers and assholes that showed up, but thankfully they saw themselves out pretty quick. You know, imagine having a birthday and nobody but your fucking frenemies show up. Like, the people that you can enjoy a conversation with, but you also have to be careful not to, like, reveal too much sensitive information that be used against you later. You know, imagine nobody but your frenemies showing up. Like, people that are going to be douchey to you, like, no matter what the fuck you do or no matter what the fuck you say. I guess at that point, it'd just be a troll party. You'd be trolling them, they'd be trolling you. But yeah. So, yeah. A couple days after that, I started to get better around the time of New Year's, but I wasn't quite at my 110%. Now, what were my options for New Year's? Where could I go? What could I do? Well, me being a Maryland guy, I could have gone up to Delaware to enjoy the New Year's Furry Ball. It's been hosted in Delaware for the past several years now, and I do try to make the attempt to go out there until COVID began. So I stopped doing that after COVID because I don't want to catch the coof. By the way, the sickness, you'll be interested to know. It wasn't COVID-19, it wasn't Omicron, it wasn't Delta, it wasn't any of those variants. It was just seasonal flu. Knocked me on my ass for the better part of 2 weeks. And, no, I got tested, like, while I was still experiencing symptoms, just, you know, for the sake of satisfying a curiosity of mine. And no, I just was overdue for, like, my sickness, I guess, like, pushing on 5 to 10 years. Anyway, I could have gone to Delaware to enjoy the New Year's Furry Ball, but I didn't want to, like, spread, you know, unknowingly spread, like, the sickness around. Con crud being a terrible thing. People that get sick, I know, like, historically, they would always be like, hey, let's go ahead and enjoy the convention here. Let's go ahead and do it. And they wouldn't really think about the long-term ramifications of that. What if somebody's immunocompromised and they catch your sickness and it really fucks them up for a while? That would fucking suck. But they don't think about things like that, you know? So, all that to say, for New Year's, I did the same thing I did for my birthday. I popped on VR chat, and I decided to go to a very, very, very goofy portrayal of Times Square and enjoy my time with various people that decided to show up.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me, my lover stands on golden sands and watches the ships that go sailing. Somewhere beyond the sea, she's there watching for me. If I could fly like birds on high, then straight to her arms I'd go sailing. It's far beyond a star, it's near beyond the moon.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
answers. If you would only say you care. And though my pocket may be empty, I'd be a millionaire. My clothes may still be torn and tattered, but in my heart I'd be a king. Your love is all that ever mattered. It's everything. So open your arms and you'll open the door to every treasure that I'm hoping for. Hold me and kiss me and tell me you're mine evermore. Must I forever be a beggar whose golden dreams will not come true? Or will I go from rags to riches? My fate is up to you.
Namely my friends, namely some acquaintances, namely people that are sort of still my friends, but not really because I kind of drifted apart from them, and I don't know if they're still feeling the whole Tujo vibe. But hey, you know, like an occasion like New Year's is enough to bring people together, and I figured no harm, no foul. Let's go ahead and enjoy our time together, however brief it might be. So I got to go ahead and see the virtual fireworks. I had, see the ball drop for... I come from the East Coast, by the way, so obviously New Year's will change depending on your geographical location, either in the United States or overseas or throughout the whole world. All right, so that's all to, say about all that. It was after New Year's that the sickness began to drain from my body, and I had realized that I hadn't made a video that I wasn't planning on to catch up on Christian. And, if you're wondering why I haven't really jumped on, I haven't really spurned myself to try to make a Christian video. A lot of the Christian videos are really about, their time in jail, alluded to by the letters that they keep sending out, because so many people have sent him letters, and the problem is that the delusions of a madman personified by what they commit to paper is boring after a while. They keep insisting that they are the next Messiah, that the dimensional merge is absolutely going to happen, and that we all need to prepare for that, and we need to send donations to our grand Messiah. And I already told you, I kind of want to start a new religion, Christianity. And we're going to take over a gospel church, and we're going to go ahead and install our glorious leader, Christian. Now, obviously, they need to still face justice for what they did, but I'm sure we could get, a big flat screen TV to, showcase what Christian has been doing in jail, and that they can, give their sermons from jail to the real world. And we can all, just sort of, be enraptured by the insanity of the words of a madman, or madwoman if you subscribe to Christian being transgender, which I personally don't. If you're going to change your gender for the sole purpose of attracting a mate, expanding your dating pool, that does not speak to gender dysphoria. It speaks more to a theory that somebody had thrown around called TITS, or trolling-induced transgender syndrome, than it does anything else. Because if you look at Christian's life history, it really matches up the theory of tits. Now, granted, is it really like a psychologically based, like, idea or concept? Not really. It's just an observation that various people online made in the light of, like, various developments that have been going on with various people out there. Usually internet personalities like Christian, but, I think there's some credence here. I think Christian's life is an open handbook on how not to raise your kids, but that's just me, So if you intend to have children in the near future, with, like for whatever reason or purpose, or maybe you found that right girl that you want to like sync up with, settle down, have a family, this is how not to raise your kid. Christian really does speak to me as the child that was essentially raised by the internet, because from what I know, Christian's parents only seem to have a marginal influence on their everyday life. Christian was alone for like a lot of time, alright? Like, they've had a history of being sort of the outcast of society. Confined to their bedroom where they would make these weird, like, garish, outlandish videos. And that's how he got noticed by the trolls. It's like, something awful and, like, various other places. There would be this, the comics that they would produce would be dispensed online. And people would notice that and were just like, dude, look, check this guy out. Are you seeing this, man? Like, what the fuck is this? Sonic Shoe? What the fuck? So from that point onwards, as Christian became more aware of the various people that had basically discovered him, he starts to try to defend himself, taking things way too seriously and going above and beyond to defend his good name. I didn't even mention all the internet girlfriends that he was convinced that he was dating. And the creepiest has got to be a video they sent to Ivy that he was convinced that Ivy was actually a real person that was going to come to his house, and that he and his mother would have to pick her up from the airport and bring her home. And it's the video has him wearing a blazer suit jacket, and he's speaking in the creepiest Christian voice I've ever heard. It's like, hey Ivy, I'm making this video for you. I can't, it's way too high pitched. I can't do it. Let me see. Hey Ivy, I'm making this video for you. We're gonna pick you up from the airport and get something to eat, and maybe get some McDonald's, or you can always go back to my place and watch Family Guy, or how about Gilligan's Island? Dude, if I was a girl and somebody did that for me, I'd just I would look at that on either my phone or maybe the computer screen for 5 minutes and just slowly shut that shit down and never speak to them again. No, I can't imagine any girl going for that unless it's a trollception sort of thing where the trolls actually pulled that with Christian, by the way. They sent a real life woman and convinced Christian that she was his internet girlfriend, and she got more accurately rescued from Christian because Christian kept trying to kiss her and hug her and grope her, and this big black guy in a pickle costume,
I'm Pickle Rick,
rescued the girl from Christian, and Christian was convinced that in a video he's just well, Panda Halo, well, it's it's over. Panda Halo, well, she broke up with me because the Pickle Man tricked me again. I don't know why that phrase is so funny to me. The Pickle Man tricked me again. Who is the nefarious Pickle Man? I just think of, Pickle Rick from Rick and Morty, but okay. Anyway, all this to say that Christian really was just a kid raised on the internet, okay? The only interactions that he had to any great degree were the trolls that were basically trying to fuck up with his life. And on several occasions, the trolls have admitted that they went above and beyond what they should have, but they didn't really know the extent of the damage that their trolling would have on this autistic man's life. And Christian, whether or not you can blame autism for any of this, they as a person weren't necessarily a good person, number one. Number two, they definitely had some other issues other than autism. So this is the outcome, okay? Christian being in jail for fucking his mother. That is the outcome of this particular person's life. you know, having been raised on the internet. And, you know, you could always tell in the lead up to all that, that Christian, there was like a fork in the road. Christian could have gone the good path or the bad path, all right? And obviously they went down the bad path because rather than like get their life together and, you know, start saving some money, work at like a regular job, apart from their monthly tugboat, actually set some money aside, try to gain higher education apart from that stupid associate's degree that they had in web design or whatever. No, like, I think it was like email design. No, it was a CAD degree. It was computer assisted drafting and design. And they didn't use that, obviously. I mean, their fucking website that they made themselves should be indicative of that. But, you know, you pursue your dreams, I guess. Just Christian is so fucking lazy. They had all this time. And the worst thing about it is the trolls years later felt sorry for Christian because of all the damage and like all the misfortunes that came to their life. And they would donate vast amounts of money that Christian would just waste on My Little Pony figurines and his stupid Sony like PSN account. Like, by the way, Christian, they would waste hundreds upon thousands of dollars buying various games, all the DLCs, various other things because he thought that he was defending Sony. Or at least supporting Sony. Because for some reason, Christian has this weird sense of brand recognition or brand loyalty, I suppose, in that they will prefer certain brands and like they will support them by donating vast, well, I shouldn't say donating, insisting on only buying that product, you know, so like PlayStation over Xbox and all the various accoutrements that go with that. Because, you know, they think they're supporting that particular company, and he approves of that company. Like, it even got to the point where he actually wrote an open-air letter to, like, the Axe Corporation, and was just like, Axe, it has come to my attention that the homosexuals are using your product. I want you to put a disclaimer on your product from here on out that says, like, disclaimer, warning, not intended for use by the homosexuals. We do not appreciate your patronage. I don't know any gay guys that uses Axe, unless they're, like, maybe still in middle school. So, a miss on two accounts there. Homophobia notwithstanding. But, anyway, the whole Christian situation, you're not missing a whole lot. Although I've been hearing talk about calls coming from Christian in prison. And I have, like, a couple letters that I've, like, parsed over. But, apart from some, like, details, there's like extrapolations that you can get from each letter, all right? And what I should be doing is I should be cataloging that and just keeping track of it. Because like Christian likes to repeat themselves a lot in these letters, all right? That they are the Grand Messiah, that they offer the hearts and minds and blessings of like various people that he thinks is supporting them. Trolls have been disgusting enough to try to pose as Robert or Robert Chu, as in like Christian's father, Bob, in some of these letters, and Christian would just flush him down the toilet. In Christian's words, all right? Like, I'm not saying that I actually know what they're doing in prison, but supposedly they would just flush him down the toilet because they knew it was a fake. They knew that they weren't going to get contacted by Bob. It raises the question, does Christian know, like, that, like, they're just putting on an act? But I think we all overestimate Christian's propensity for, like, planning, because they seem to live on impulse, all right? As soon as they get money, they spend it all on various, like, crap that they don't honestly need. And they're incredibly gullible, so if anybody reaches out to them and acts like a friend to him, like a certain girl from Texas Tech University, Isabella Rajanki, for instance, he just automatically trusts them. And I don't know, like, honestly, the Christian saga, it's kind of hit a bit of a low point because there's not a whole lot to talk about. And like, what's the strongest indication to me about that is that a lot of the big name YouTubers that used to cover Christian as a subject matter, they've steadily moved away from Christian because they recognized the fact that they weren't going to get any more like real tangible material like from that. They would actually, like, even Dylan Thomas, like in one video, I remember he mentioned that, all right, if you're wondering why I'm not covering the Christian letters, it's because they're always the same. They're always so formulaic. They're the same thing. Christian thinks that they're a delusional blue goddess, heart goddess, and that they keep repeating themselves over and over and over again in all these letters. There's no change. There's no variation here. It's not really worth getting into. And yeah, like, that's certainly one perspective that you can hold. On the other hand, I feel like that's a lost opportunity, don't you? Like, for instance, you can actually, like, talk about a lot of things about Christian. And in fact, like, people like Base Shaman, they would go into, like, Christian still. Although, like, he, like, Dylan Thomas, has sort of gone down that trap, or that track of, hey, like, it's not really worth getting into from here on out, so I'm just going to talk about anything else that happens to be, you know, noteworthy. So I don't know. It should show that this is sort of like the grand saga, the grand Christian saga, is definitely hit a stall ever since they got sent to prison. And there was an initial, like, sort of interest and fascination with the arrest that Ethan Thomas, like, live streamed, but for the most part, not a whole lot more to update on that front, besides the vague whisperings of whatever you happen to see inside of those letters. And there's got to be a lot of letters coming out, you know? Like, a lot of letters have to be circulating if, like, so many people have reached out to Christian, as many as he professes that they have, you know? I'll continue to do what I can, because that is the nature of this channel, to cover whatever various drama that happens to be relevant or of interest to you all, the dear audience. But yeah, other than that, Hypnotist Sappho, supposedly they're in a psych ward. Supposedly. Various rumors have been dispensed on Twitter. Like, a lot of people were very late to the party. In fact, like, you know, I remember that Ray DeGlaire, she actually covered Hypnotist Sappho fairly early. And I covered Hypnotist Sappho fairly early. Maybe not the earliest, but fairly early enough that I spread awareness about, you know, her intentions, her activities. And right before she got banned off of Twitter, like, she was getting very raunchy. Like, just very spicy and busky in how she would, like, interact with people, number one. Number two, the things that she would, like, say. Like, she was hoping that she could be so attractive and manipulative to, like, her trolls that she could convince them to, like, be seduced by her. Like, to want her, to desire her. But also having that catch-22 at the back of their mind that would tell them, dude, you're attracted to a dog fucker. Like, you're attracted to the very thing that you hate. Various weird things that she was saying. And obviously, I already mentioned the whole MAPS revelation. If I had to spell it out for you guys, if you're wondering what MAP stands for, it's Minor Attracted Person. I didn't say it in my last video because I really feel like that's a useless label, like, to sort of, like, excuse the fact that you're a pedophile. But various people have insisted on using that label. As in, hey, I'm not a pedophile, I'm just a MAP. I'm just a minor attracted person, okay? It's a valid sexuality. And I hate to burst your bubble, bud. No, it ain't. Okay, kids can't consent, all right? You are still developing. And if you want to get technical, yeah, Hypnotist Sappho pointed out, like, hey, well, you want to raise the age of consent to, like, age 25 because that's technically when the brain stops developing. But no. Like, I think 18's a perfectly good age, okay? Obviously, we're not really mentioning the whole Romeo and Juliet laws, you know, that can sort of stretch that little slider depending on what age both partners are. But I see nothing wrong with an 18-year-old dating a 17-year-old, all right? I don't see anything wrong with, like, a 16-year-old dating a 17-year-old. But, like, I see something perfectly amiss when it's like a 25-year-old and a 17-year-old, or, like, dare I say it, a 34-year-old dating, like, a 17-year-old, okay? That's where it's like you bring out the band hammer and you're ready to, like, you know, smash some heads in. But anyway, so what other things that she would do is that she would host, you know, like, Twitter Spaces. Like, Twitter Space videos would start surfacing, and people would actually record, like, you know, basic conversations that Hypnotist Sappho happened to be a part of. And in one of them, she was, like, fucking, like, on call. You could like you sort of go ahead and say like Tujo that was quite clearly an act. No, you listen to that. You come back and you tell me that was an act. I wouldn't be surprised if she was getting fucked on the call. You know, either that or she was rubbing her hand really fast between her legs. But I couldn't say one way or the other because obviously there's no video to go up with that. It's completely speculative. A lot of people jumped on the bandwagon of, oh my god, she's having sex with a dog on call. Entirely possible. I wouldn't put it past her, to be honest with you. There's obviously no proof to that, but I wouldn't be surprised, okay? I'm trying to be as transparent upfront with you guys, as perfectly, like, honest as I can be. It can be claimed, like, if this was hypothetically brought to court, that this was purely, like, you know, an act. It was just an act that, like, you know, people... to, like, get a shock factor out of people. That people were shocked to, like, see this. But you would also see conversations where it was more about, like, sort of a debate or a conversation about things. And maybe I don't give these people credit enough, but apparently, like, and it's not something that I think about, you know? Because the first time that I was really exposed to this on a mass scale was during the whole Kira the Wolf scandal, alright? I just kind of figured that whatever zoo files, or zoo sadists more accurately, had been exposed, had basically receded in the shadows. Those that could get away before they got arrested or investigated by law enforcement in their respective locales. You know, one guy, he got arrested in Brazil, Cuba, pardon me. But like, he got released because there was no law on the books, you know, banning bestiality, because I guess bestiality is really done down there, and which is probably going to change in the near future, thankfully. But no, the zoo files didn't go away. It's just that usually they're not so bold as to come out and reveal themselves in the general public eye. And the fact that, like, Hypnotist Sappho did, she kept increasingly, like, getting worse and worse and worse with every update that she released. And some people, namely zoophiles, have actually gone so far as to say that Hypnotist Sappho as a person that we could see didn't exist. That they never existed. That they are, you know, they were just a persona that was created to troll the rest of the internet. No. If you're going to, like, go down that road, then explain to me why there were so many, like, very personal interactions between Hypnotist Sappho and various underage minors on VR chat or Discord or various other places that go a little bit beyond an elaborate act. Unless you want to say that this was the long game, but there's not a whole lot of people that can really fake being personally, like, you know, genuine with somebody that they have an interest in. Various people in the comments section from my last video pointed out that Hypnotist Sappho had a boyfriend, and said boyfriend was 16 years old. She is quite honestly, you know, 24, I believe. And, you know, that, like, the interactions that they had were of a sexually charged nature. And when it wasn't satisfying to have those on Discord, they transitioned over to VR chat to have various ERP sessions. VR chat is a hotbed for erotic roleplay, you know? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Obviously, I can stick a dick on this thing and be fucking an Anachi if I want to, but, like, I'm aware of various things that happen, alright? And I'm not endorsing anything. The only thing I'm actively discouraging is if you're abusing somebody, or if you're, like, you know, going after minors, then that's grounds for being banned from the platform, I would imagine. But if it's just, like, two consenting adults getting together, having fun, whatever, no place for me to judge. But no, like, all these people that had gotten so, like, you know, driven, so whipped up into a frenzy, as, like, you know, Hypnotist Sappho was trying to rally the zoophile community to come together and, like, you know, share their voice in general public. You know, it inspired another generation of zoophiles. Various minors would come out and adopt the Zeta symbol, saying that they were, in fact, a zoophile. Whether or not they actually are or not really depends on if there's, like, a psychological evaluation to see if they actually have that, like, internal desire to be with an animal. But, you know, that's also a matter for the parents, you know? And I was just surprised because, like, this has been mentioned, like a year in advance, okay? At least a year in advance that it's been mentioned that the Twitter community has had a zoophile problem for a while. And I'm saying, like, I didn't think about it, all right? I honestly didn't think about it until Hypnotist Sappho showed up. Because, you know, Kira the Wolf, like, that was the only zoophile that I was blatantly aware of and I could point at as, like, the poster child, in spite of their denial and, like, the whole fucking crazy train that they tried to pull in denying that they were culpable in any of their past wrongdoing. So, yeah. Hypnotist Sappho, also, you really have to sort of gauge whether or not you can believe anything she says, because this grand revelation came from her. She admitted having various mental issues, and I have to say, I can't help but feel like I smell some bullshit here, alright? Like, and even Anonymous got involved. Anonymous actually doxed, like, you know, Hypnotist Sappho. I keep trying to, like, wanting to use her real name. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to keep this squeaky clean. Well, as clean as I can with all the cursing that I've done. But no, Anonymous got involved, and, like, in spite of that, there's still some people out there that say that Hypnotist Sappho as a person never existed, and that this was just an elaborate troll for the internet. Zeta North America, by the way, you'll be, pleasantly surprised, appears to be already defunct. They couldn't get their application through the IRS to be a tax-deductible entity, and, well, they seem to be shit out of luck, everybody that supported that. Granted, the donation revenue that came in was pitifully small, so I don't think they actually got a lot of support from people that could actually, like, contribute meaningfully, alright? Which is not a bad thing, but, you know, zoophiles in general appear to be getting bolder, alright? And various minors out there that are on Twitter as a platform, they seem to be showcasing a defiance in the face of us, we haters, alright? That they are completely valid and that their plight should be heard by the rest of the world. And that Valerie, Hypnotist Sappho, you know, was basically the one leading the charge. And what do I think about Hypnotist Sappho? I think that something, like, happened, alright? Like, she thinks that she's this enlightened goddess that can do no wrong, and that we just need to understand her, and that we're too ignorant to understand her, so we, like, fall back to such ignorant, like, you know, positions of hatred and animosity directed at her. But, like, plenty of time, it's, like, been showcased that she's a compulsive liar, she's very impulsive as far as a person goes, and she herself admitted that she has sort of a vulnerability to adopting certain ideas or concepts in her mind that we wouldn't. I don't know how else to define that right now because I don't remember off the top of my head. I just read it and I was just like, I just kind of looked at it and stared at it for a while. I'm like, okay, so that's the excuse you're going to go with. She definitely showcases some trolling behaviors and, like, some tendencies, but I don't think that this was just an elaborate trolling attempt. I do genuinely believe that, you know, Hypnotist Sappho is a fucking dog fucker based on everything that I found out and everything that she said. I think that the dog, like the German Shepherd that she was attracted to, supposedly was owned by a friend. So she has plausible deniability insofar as she does not, like, legally own the dog. But other than that, I sincerely hope that she doesn't have access to an animal, like, on her premises. Granted, if she's going to be in a psych ward for a while, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. Various people have been, like, sort of spreading the rumor that she'd even been arrested, which I don't see any proof of. But hey, if she has been, thank God, probably long overdue. She should be investigated at the very least for interactions with various minors. And worst case, like, she tried several times to throw, like, any suspicion off her trail. Like, for instance, the most egregious of which being the use of another girl's face. And the girl actually reached out and says, hey, I'm actually active duty, like, in the armed forces right now. This could cause some serious repercussions to me. So can you guys please just stop? I'm not this person that you think I am. Like, please stop. And so then people realized that they had gotten the wrong girl because Hypnotist Sappho had basically, you know, left it ambiguous Just drop that, and like people had seen somebody else that they thought was Hypnotist Sappho IRL. Anyway, all this, I could probably cover it to far greater detail in another video, but the TLDR here is that Hypnotist Sappho, prior to her getting suspended off Twitter, was getting increasingly more, like, you know, ghoulish and just pushing the envelope very hard. I think her revelation as a map and her dispensing of material that was, you know, showcasing relations between adults and minors probably got her banned. I'm not sure what was specifically the reason that she got banned, but as of today, she's still banned. So I don't think that this was just a temporary one and done ban. I think this was like a permanent ban. Anyway, other than that, what else can I really talk about right now? Well, Cuckerberg, he wants to start what's called the Metaverse, although I'm sure you all heard about that already. The Metaverse is intended to be like a virtual like simulation online, available to anybody and everybody, and it seems boring as fuck to me. He actually wants to include shopping as a part of, like, you know, this metaverse. And I actually am kind of worried because I feel like VRChat in the near future might get bought out by one of these assholes that basically takes all of this and makes it so cookie cutter and like bland and acceptable for the generalized masses that people like me are going to absolutely fucking hate it. And if you're just doing this for grandma or, like, you know, the various young adults on Facebook or whatever, hey, whatever. But from what I've seen, it seems boring as fuck. I get more enjoyment from VRChat just talking to people in my goofy avatar. I don't need to, like, look vaguely like myself IRL to live in a simulation. You know, like, there was Second Life. Remember Second Life? If you don't remember Second Life was basically like the closest thing to VRChat before VRChat became a thing. And there's still people, diehards on Second Life today, that are still supportive of that platform and are still there and still enjoy the platform to its fullest. Hopefully the metaverse loses steam, but Cuckerberg's he's pretty loaded as far as that money goes. And there used to be a relationship that Facebook had with VRChat prior to VRChat branching off and opening, you know, its bankroll to various people that would contribute for VRChat Plus, $10 a month. I'm currently subscribed because I really love VRChat as a platform. In spite of its quirks, the fact that it's very unstable as a platform. But no, this is where my friends are. This is where, like, you know, I come to make videos and movies and those VRChat skits. So yeah, I'm going to be supportive of the platform. What I'm not going to be supportive of are rich bitches that think that money can solve all wounds, which it can in certain circumstances, but like as far as the metaverse goes, I'm not seeing a whole lot of appeal with that. I don't know what you're going to be doing on the metaverse, and if it's going to be like PG-13 at all times, that sounds even more boring to me. But hey, I can probably look into that a lot more deeply. The fact that, like, it's the closest thing to, like, the Matrix. You remember the Matrix? Like, you get uploaded to a machine to be a personal battery, and the machine, like, quote-unquote, rewards you by giving you a simulation thinking that you're actually living, like, a normal life in real life. And in reality, you're just sealed in this machine, like, giving your life essences to a machine that uses you as a power source. This is the closest thing that I'm seeing that some normie company out there, like Facebook, is trying to implement as simulation for people. And if it's just going to be for, like, your family and friends and relatives, I couldn't imagine it taking off that much, other than being maybe a quirky commodity, like, you know, a quirky, like, you know, fun little toy thing to enjoy on the side. But other than, like, maybe a casual basis of enjoyment, I don't see much as far as where it's going to go. It's not like there's going to be games like you can play here on VRChat. So you kind of have to be in sort of like the cultural mindset of, like, internet culture to really enjoy some of this stuff. And something like the metaverse just seems completely ignorant to anything that you or I would actually give a damn about and enjoy. But hey, speaking of gaming, I've been playing STALKER. like Stalker, Call of Pripyat, Misery mod.
Ano, chiki-briki в дамке!
Ooh, shit, I should have done that. Oh, fuck. Okay, so for Lucky... Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Ow, 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 ow. Run, 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 run. Get the fuck out of there. Fucking son of a bitch. What the fuck is he saying? Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Oh, fuck off, dude. Ah! Oh no! Get the gun out. Jesus Christ! Ah! Fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. What? What? I see a flashlight, and you know what that tells me? It tells me there's a dude at the end of it. Yep, there he is. Wow! Suck on this, asshole. Fuck off. Fuck off. What the hell? What fucking... Oh, jeez. There's two of them. Come on, man. What the fuck happened there? You know why it's fucking called Misery? Do you understand why it's called fucking Misery mod? It's a fucking miserable experience, okay? Like, plain and simple. You can die from one bullet, like, hitting you. Like, completely just fuck you up. I've been shot various times by bandits and various other hostile, like, entities out there. And it's just like, who the fuck shot me? Lee Harvey Oswald?
All right, Lee. Time to become an American hero.
I wouldn't fucking be surprised. But no. Stalker, I was actually a big fan of Stalker games growing up, alright? Ever since I watched a friend's brother play it, I was hooked, alright? Stalker, Shadow Chernobyl, and then it transitioned over to Stalker Clear Sky, and then the final entry in the series, apart from the mods, was, Call of Pripyat. And each of the games had something unique that they brought to the table. For instance, Shadow Chernobyl has got to be my favorite because it's the one that initiated this whole series. Followed by Clear Sky, which brought the faction war system, as well as new weapons and armor repair. Call of Pripyat brought a much more intuitive, like, graphical improvement to the whole thing. It simplified a lot of the areas that you would actually go to, but it also brought with it, like, upgrades that you can do for your weapons and armor, but also, like, a much more intuitive and streamlined story. And Misery Mod takes the Call of Pripyat game and basically fundamentally changes it to be the absolute most realistic portrayal of Stalker that you could imagine. Now, for those of you uninitiated, Stalker is basically a game series that takes place in and around Chernobyl. So notable locations that are present in real life, like the Chernobyl MVP, or as I like to call it, the PP, are present in the game. And the whole story goes that after the Chernobyl disaster happened, various laboratories operated in secrecy within the zone because now people weren't there, all right? They had all this space, granted it was irradiated, but they had all this space to utilize to conduct experiments on things. So by the time you show up, circa 2012, there's mutants everywhere. There's anomalies everywhere. If you don't know what an anomaly is basically a rift in the laws of physics. For instance, there's like an anomaly that's quite literally nothing but physics. It's called a whirligig, and basically what it does is if you step into it, it whips you around at like the speed of sound, and you basically just decompose into a mass of, meat, like, and tissue fragments and bone fragments. Like, you're completely done. There's various other anomalies, like the fruit punch anomaly, which is basically like acid just present on the ground. And if you step into it, obviously it's going to dissolve you into like nothing. There's a number of different anomalies. There's like some that aren't really all that hostile to you, you know? Kind of like the space bubble anomaly. Although the space bubble anomaly sounds like Groundhog Day insofar as when you get in there, the transition of your surroundings will repeat. So you keep going forward, and like imagine you're on a forest path and you keep going forward, but you just keep resetting to the beginning of the path over and over again after you get to a certain point. That's what a space bubble anomaly does. At least you don't really experience that except under like isolated circumstances in the game. But yeah, where did the mutants, anomalies, and things like that came from? The radiation, we already know where that came from. It came from the Chernobyl MPP and like Reactor 4 exploding. But it's not known like where the mutants, the anomalies, and various other things came about. There's various people within the zone of alienation called stalkers that like to capitalize on the sale of like various things inside the zone, like artifacts. Artifacts are generated by the anomalies after a certain period of time. Of course, living the life of a stalker seems like it would fucking suck. Like, this isn't like an extended camping trip in the Boy Scouts. This is like you trying to have the Boy Scout experience in a perpetual war zone, where like mutants will try to kill you for meat, and like other people, like bandits, will just shoot at you. In fact, bandits seem to have a proclivity to like saying their catchphrase, and right before, with like the exact positioning and like, you know, accuracy of an artillery bombardment, to throw a grenade right on top of your head. Misery Mod takes all of that to a much deeper level, alright? The prices at traders are much more quote-unquote realistic now, to the point where like it will cost you hundreds upon thousands of rubles just to buy basic supplies. And you gotta eat, you gotta sleep, you gotta do everything that a normal human needs to function. And if you can't do that, well, you're shit out of luck, man. Everything is taken care of as far as like the game mechanics and things like that. I picked Black Road because your boy Tujo here is kind of a masochistic type gamer. Black Road starts you off the game without a gun or any basic equipment. You basically start off in a house surrounded by zombies. And, you know, like, these zombies aren't like George Romero type zombies. I'm talking about zombies that have access to firearms and can shoot you, you know? Why they shoot you? I guess they're running on the impulses of like when they died. So they think that you're an enemy or intruder or something like that. And they're just going to take pot shots at you as they garble and like Russian. And like just getting anywhere in that game costs money. And getting money, like you'll do it, like you have to pay like 89,000 rubles for a suit of armor that might extend your life just a little tiny bit. And like how much do you get paid for basic jobs that you do for the traders and various other people that need jobs done? Like anywhere from like 2,000 to 10,000 rubles if you're lucky. Because sometimes, like, I did a job for somebody and they just basically thanked me and said, hey, we spent all of our money on covering the expenses of hiring everybody else, so thank you, bye. And I was just like, you fucking serious? I want my fucking money. Like, I put my life on the line for you. I got your friend back from this ambush, and you're gonna pay me in gratitude? Anyway, I want to pose an open-air question to you all. Would you be interested if I start making gaming-related content? Like, and I'm not talking about just, like, straight-up gameplay footage from Twitch. I'm talking about that I will try to inject my own humor into it and try to edit it in such a way that's a little bit more intuitive and engaging than just watching somebody play. Because if you want to, like, watch just somebody play, you can check out my Twitch channel sometime. I do sporadically, like, live stream my gameplay of various things, but at the same time, you know, it's not for everybody. But maybe I could start editing all that footage, because I do like try to record and keep a lot of the footage that of like when I play games. And I'm not like as hilarious as Donkey or anything like that, so don't expect like my sense of humor to be like like a fucking knee slapper. But it might be entertaining, you know, like something a little bit different from all this commentary and like delving into like hateocracy on the internet. I think we could do with a little bit more variety on this channel, is what I'm trying to say. I got some ideas, you know. I was already in the process of making stuff, but I'm just curious if you guys would be interested in that, you know? I'll give you a sneak peek here about stuff that I sort of experienced. And I've been doing this, like, I have this vast accumulation of all this footage, but I haven't released it because I've been so busy with things, you know? If you're wondering when I'm busy with things, I have a full-time job, IRL, that I work a 9-to-5 job. I also have a film project that's of an ongoing series I've been working on for the better part of a year. And every time that I get footage, I edit that shit as soon as I possibly can. Though I also try to remain open-minded enough to critique and criticism and suggestions for improving said footage. So, like, we're nowhere near to, like, releasing episodes, like, full-fledged episodes yet. But, you know, I have seen vast improvement as far as, like, the constitution of various scenes that I've put together with my cast. And I am goddamn lucky enough to have a cast that's willing to follow me. Granted, the cast is questionably reliable because various things do happen, like, in everyday life. So their ability to show up is going to be enhanced or, like, you know, detracted by various things going on in their everyday life. Not to mention the fact that we've been in lockdown for, like, what, 2 years now? And we only just, like, started to see, like, the illusions that there was going to be sort of a reprieve, like, you know, to, like, the lockdowns. And now we got Omicron on the way, and various people are fighting that right now. Like, you know, the prospect of a lockdown, because, you know, obviously businesses need to stay open in order to survive, and people need to mask up and be vaccinated, depending on their current, like, health concerns or anything like that, in order to better withstand the storm. But yeah, other than all that, I couldn't help but notice various prepper communities out there think something big's on the way. Whether that means World War III or anything like that, I do know that China has been hoarding a lot of food lately. And China as a country, like, ever since the 5-year plans implemented by Mao Zedong back in the 50s, they've had a history of dealing with famine and food shortages. So it could be that, or they could know something that we don't. And China hasn't exactly been, like, a good country for a long time now. I see it as a totalitarian dictatorship run by the Chinese Communist Party. You can disagree with me that, like, if you want, but it doesn't seem like it's a happy life in China, especially given the fact that more recently they, like, rolled out their social credit system, something that Cuckerberg would probably do. Like, if he was in he would basically rule the metaverse with an iron fist, and you would have, like, a social credit score yourself. You'd be the type of guy that would be like, hey, you know, you didn't walk that old lady across the street, even though she was a virtual old lady. Oh, -5 points. Oh, you kicked a dog in virtual reality? Oh, that's like 500 points right there. That's cruelty to animals. We can't have that. Like, oh, you're having fun? Fuck that, man. We don't have fun here. This is the fucking metaverse. You're here to be productive. -1,000 social credit points. I couldn't even see Garo Shadow Scales being that bad, in spite of the fact that he's a raving narcissistic loser. But anyway, speaking of Garo Shadow Scales, that whole furore, like, surrounding Garo, obviously Garo's whole response to that, he releases a statement, he waits for the heat to die down, goes right back to operations. Danderwolf has mentioned a few things to me, and, like, it's been a nice thing to have the opportunity to talk to some other YouTubers out there, like Danderwolf and Coyote Lovely. And I have to say, Coyote Lovely really does meet up to his name, Coyote Lovely. He certainly is a lovely individual. It's just too bad that both of us are so busy all the time. We can only sporadically talk when we have the time to do so. No, he seems like a pretty cool guy, and Danderwolf seems like a strapping young lad that's trying to make it on the cruel internet as it stands. By the way, Kaiuwu, obviously a while back I mentioned as a shout out that he had made some fan art for me. Somebody else made some fan art for me. Bicornasaurs, I believe. If I'm mispronouncing your name, I do apologize, and I will try to correct myself later. But Bicornasaurs was nice enough to, you know, without any provocation, just draw some fan art for me. And it's like a rough likeness to the big otter, but I liked it. You know, the style, you know, showed a lot of development, and it was interesting to see myself in such a style. So hey, Binocarius. If you're watching this right now, thank you so much for the fan art. Kaiuwu, as always, really appreciate the fan art that you drew for me as well. So, slight correction. I looked back at my fur affinity. It actually was Bicornasaurs. So, Bicornasaurs, if you're watching this video right now, I sincerely do apologize. I received your message, and I received the picture when I was still, like, down for the count. As in, bleary-eyed and nauseous and just not really all that functional. So, I do apologize, but hey, thanks again for drawing the picture for me, man. Anyway. But yeah, other than that, like, what I'm trying to say with the whole gaming thing is that there wasn't a whole lot I could do when I wasn't really feeling my 110%. I could not push myself to make videos like this. I really wasn't feeling it. And in order to make videos like this where I can really carry a conversation and talk for an endless amount of time on various subject matters, it takes a certain amount of what I call emotional energy. It's just a philosophy I have. You only have so much energy in you to give a fuck about anything throughout the day. And obviously, some people have more or less to spare, depending on what life throws at them, alright? So obviously, if you're living, like, a very bad lifestyle where, you know, your car broke down this morning, you got fired from your job because you showed up to work late, and various other things, you're gonna have a far, less amount of emotional energy to deal with any other bullshit that happens to come your way. Like your friends maybe not being the best to you, or various other things, or you're not gonna have that warm, fuzzy feeling to share yourself with other people. Other people, in spite of the hardships, they have more, more emotional energy to spare, because they want to improve the lives of those around them. They have a very altruistic and very empathetic sort of outlook in the face of anything that happens to be going on. It really depends on the individual, your upbringing, like things that you've experienced up to this point. But anyway. All this to say that I'm finally back, guys, and you know what? It feels great to be back. It feels great to be recording videos again. It feels great to be engaging with you all, the dear audience. And, you know, it's been a rough 3 years. I appreciate each and every one of you sticking by my side through thick and thin. I am just kind of curious about what 2022 has in store for the rest of us, you know? There's gotta be some light at the end of the tunnel here, right? There's gotta be, alright? There's gotta be some sort of grand spanking new, vaccine that's gonna actually be a vaccine for COVID-19, be 110% effective and start curing people. Well, I should say, preventing the spread of the sickness, any more than it already has. But, for some people, you know, doom and gloom. I mean, just 2022 can either be the year where things start to get better, or it could be the year that things start to get so much worse than it already has been, as hard as that might be to believe. Total social economic collapse. Man, that would fucking suck. You know, no more internet, no more power, no more hot showers, no more toilet paper, no more food on the shelves at the grocery store, meaning I'll probably have to kill small wild animals and deer and shit like that. And, most importantly, no more fucking YouTube channel to come back to, which is the real horror here. That's the most important thing. Nah, just kidding. But, no, it is kind of scary. We've had it relatively good for a good many years now, until, the COVID began. And obviously, there have been various things happening in the wider world, right? The fall of Libya, our ongoing war in Iraq that we ungraciously pulled out of very recently at the start of, Biden's presidency. But we've been weathering worse, right? Worse than COVID-19. The COVID-19 doesn't even seem to be that bad of an affliction. The only thing that's really bad about it is that it's so widespread and it's all over the world now. The saving grace here is there were a few scares leading up to this about, Ebola. And Ebola caused a lot of problems, what was it, Western Leone and various provinces in Africa. So I think we can all thank our lucky stars that it wasn't Ebola. But at the same time, it has certainly done a lot of damage to our economy, and things only look like they're going to get slightly worse from here. You know, runaway inflation and things like that. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Venezuela or anything like that, so we can all probably, like, you know, be cautiously optimistic that our individual everyday lives aren't going to be impacted too much. But every time that you go to the gas station and hit the pump, you're going to see, like, those dollars go up pretty fucking far. And, you know, it might be to the point where we can only fill up a tank, like, of gas halfway instead of whole way. And we can only get, like, 75% of the amount of groceries we otherwise would, like, ordinarily get with about the same amount of money, maybe 70%. And it doesn't seem like much, but for some people, like, they live off of that. They live paycheck to paycheck. They don't have the ability to be able to squirrel enough money away to make that next payment. And hell, I didn't even fucking mention rent. Like, rent prices have got to be pretty sky high, you know, like, depending on where you live. Obviously, if you're in New York and, like, California, I know places over there are going to be pretty fucking expensive, but, you know, hopefully each and every one of you all have taken the necessary precautions to have, at the very least, a stable life, alright? Because we all want the feature comforts that life can provide us. You know, we all want a smartphone, something that we can watch YouTube videos on, maybe in live streams, maybe in, like, Netflix or something like that. We all want access to the internet. We all want to enjoy the finer things in life. But given, like, the target audience out there, I'm going to assume, like, you guys want to play video games, you want to be able to hang out with your friends, maybe crack a cold one if you're old enough to, like, do so, or have a taste for alcohol. Hopefully you're all going to be able to continue to do that. And with a new year comes new opportunities, you know? For me, as far as this channel goes, 2022 presents itself as, you know, the year that I can presumably grow the channel. I'm going to try. Like, I am trying to improve myself at my craft every single day. And obviously, it's been a pretty slow burn here. Like, ever since I started the channel, it's been my pride and joy. But at the same time, at the very start, I had no idea what I was fucking doing. It was basically like stumbling around in the dark, slaying shit at the wall, seeing what stuck, what didn't stick, and more importantly, what I enjoyed versus what resonated with the audience. And it just so happened that over time, I got into commentary, and the commentary community out there, I don't know, it's not dead, but it's certainly lost its luster. I see a lot of people that seem to have either sold out or they're just very catty and bratty. Like, they'll pick fights with other content creators out there for what reason or purpose, I don't know. I guess my opinion is more important than yours. That's the only mentality I can really think of. So I don't know. Like, I try not to get involved in that. Granted, apart from Danderwolf and Coyote Lovely, not too many creators have actually reached out to me. I know that some creators, they like to reach out to their preferred, content creator out there for collaborations and stuff like that. That's always cool, but I kind of like the idea of being, like, you know, the independent maverick, just going his own way. I almost feel like I've kind of become accustomed to that mindset because I've been burned, like, various points in my life, alright, by various people that I thought I could trust, that I thought would have my back, and they wouldn't, you know? And, like, that's not, like, me trying to, like, sob to you all and present a sob story to you all. I think you all probably went through the same exact thing that I did, just at different points in your life. Whether or not that's really changed or influenced how you think about other people, I would say look for the absolute very best in other people. If you can't, maybe they're not your cup of tea. You know, just dump them, leave them behind, go your own way, do what you gotta do to ensure your happiness, but at the same time, do so not out of a sense of selfishness, but that, you know, the people in your life should be enriching you in some way. You should get a general sense of enjoyment by their company. If they're just dragging you down, that's just dead weight, you know? And maybe there's been times that have led up to the day that you feel like these are the people that you're going to die with. You know, like strong sense of brotherhood or sisterhood if you happen to be female. But I don't know, like, things are a little bit different these days, it feels like. Like 2022, I can make an entire video just covering last year's drama, coupled with observations that I've made, like, about the furry fandom, but also society at large. It feels like people are very mean and selfish these days. And maybe that's purely anecdotal on my part. I have no idea, alright? Because, like, my circle of influence is, like, constantly changing. I interact either with a lot of people in a short amount of time, or I interact with a lot of people over a long period of time. And, like, they really seem like they're out for themselves. They don't really value, like, what impact they have on the lives of others, and they're not really willing to help, like, if somebody else happens to be down for the count. And I'm just wondering, like, if something were to happen, like a Katrina-level disaster, but on a much wider scale, like the entire East Coast goes down, or the entire West Coast goes down, what's going to happen? Like, you know, people are going to be rioting, looting, and, like, you know, fighting each other instead of helping each other to survive. And, like, it's never that bad. There are various pockets of people that are going to be more sensible than that, and they're going to try their best to help people out, you know, make sure that everybody gets out of this and survives. But there's been plenty of times, like, that a disaster would happen, and instead of the community coming together to, like, you know, help each other out, they would rather be predatory or, like, very selfish and look out. Basically, everybody looking out for number one. And I guess that's the reason why I like the furry fandom, even though, as I've said before, I love it like a redheaded stepchild. The furry fandom has showcased itself to be a very insular, but also a very cooperative sort of, like, fandom. A lot of furries are willing to band together and help each other out. They're willing to collaborate on things. They're willing to do their best to improve the lives of their fellow furs. By that same token, because the barriers of entry are so, like, low, there's plenty of furries out there that are in the prior category. They're selfish, they're materialistic, they're very, like, you know, egotistical, narcissistic, they only look out for themselves, and they're very self-serving in how they interact with others. Thankfully, more of the sensible furries out there will recognize such negative traits in somebody's mode of character, and basically say, this guy is nothing but a piece of shit, avoid them, don't interact with them, whatever. I don't know, I just wish that the furry fandom wasn't so politicized, you know, and I understand that politics is very important. You have a established sense of identity and a set core beliefs that you are willing to espouse, but it doesn't have to be the hill to die on, you know? You can interact with other people that have different ideas separate from your own. But, you know, some people, they don't see the big picture. It's a very sort of narrow-minded perspective. And I say all of this not to be wishy-washy or anything like that. It's just a lot to think about now that it's a brand new year. And, you know, they always tell you, like, it's a new year. You need to, like, set up your, you know, your sort of, like, you know, list of improvements, your New Year's resolutions. What are you going to try to improve this year? Well, as far as the channel goes, I'm going to try new things. I'm going to try to improve on the things I'm already doing. I'm going to try to get that gaming content up sometime. But, you know, maybe you should all tell me what you want to see, you know? And I could try to, if it's within my capabilities of doing so, I'll make an attempt at the very least. Who knows, maybe I'll enjoy it. And if I don't, I'll just be completely upfront and honest with you all. Like, hey, like, I appreciate the suggestions that you guys pitched to me, but I really don't think that's within my repertoire of skills, or it's not really in my interest to do this. So I gave it my shot, I gave it a shot, and it didn't quite pan out. I do apologize for that, but, you know, everything else that you've seen so far is going to continue as is. Anyway, I think this video has gone on long enough. If you're wondering why it was so long, it was just any thought that came to mind in the moment, because I'm trying to get myself back into the mindset of the typical videos I've been doing up to this point. And hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully there was something here of value that you'd sort of parse over, you know, think about, reflect at the back of your mind, and we can all sort of, like, meet in the middle, like, in the next video, or maybe I could start reading your comments finally, now that I got some time and some energy to carry myself forward and actually record something again. But anyway, that's all for next video. So hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Till next time, guys, take care and peace. I hope you all have a better one. Hey fellas, thanks for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Would you care to hit that like button and subscribe for more? I greatly appreciate it.